PowerPoint. So. All right, you guys had homework before you came to class. You remember it?
What?
Uh-oh. Okay, first off, I need your name, your major, and your homework was your weather name, from what I heard. So,
I didn't that. You're going to get one. I told you I was going to put weather names, so you better come fast.
Do they have to rhyme with our name?
okay, if you don't have a weather name, just, go with it.
You got time. Who wants to go first? Whose weather name? Owen, you want to go first?
Overcast Owen.
Overcast Owen. There we go.
Overcast Oakland.
So I thought you had one last time.
See, I can't make up with my name. There's like nothing that's so cute.
Here, I'll tell you guys mine. Okay, people in the department, you guys know there's WebMD, right? Well, my name's Matt Dixon. So what am I? Weather MD.
I'm Weather MD.
So anytime you see me out in the hall, feel free. So,
Ashley, do you have one?
no, what do you? I mean,
So why don't you go around tell Matt the name and then maybe what year you're in?
I really liked Overcast Oakland though.
I'm Miranda Senior, I'm a biology major.
Biology.
I'm Danielle. I'm natural resources environmental science major. I'm junior.
Okay.
Yes, I'm Paige. I'm a junior. And I'm also natural resource.
Owen, Overcast. No,
So, you like it outside right now?
I didn't
Okay.
feel at home.
I'm civil and biosystems engineering, and I'm a junior.
Okay.
Quentin. I'm a NRES major and I'm a senior.
Okay.
I'm Keely. I'm an NRS senior too. I'm Rose. I'm an NRS senior.
David, same. My name's Victor. I'm studying NRES and Sustained Black. I'm a senior. And my weather name would be Vortex Vic.
Vortex Vic. There should be like extra credit associated with this.
That's not fair. I can't do anything with my name. That's not fair.
Oh, man.
Naki, also a NRASC.
Okay. Cool. Well, I mean, whatever major you're in, the weather is going to impact you in some way, shape, or form. So that's what we're going after today. You guys went over climbing on Wednesday. Today we're going over weather. We got another one coming in. You got a weather name?
Steven, the weather name.
Stormy Steven. Stormwater Steven.
Stormwater Steven. Okay. So, guys, first off, I want to apologize. This is come on in. Weather name? So guys, like I said, I want to apologize because this is a subject, it's really hard to go out and talk outside. I know you guys like to go outside, see stuff. We can't go storm chasing today, obviously. It's hard to see all the different types of clouds just walking outside right now. The weather changes every day, especially here in Kentucky. That saying, you don't like the weather today, just wait for it tomorrow. So, yeah. So I asked myself when I was making this PowerPoint, I do teach a biometeorology class in the spring, but this being master naturalist, I asked myself what things you guys would need to talk to other people about the weather here in Kentucky. So I narrowed it down to these bullets. Extreme weather events in Kentucky. I just think it's cool to talk about some of the extreme events we've seen in Kentucky kind of get started. How different it is here, definition of weather and the different elements involved. Typical year of weather in Kentucky, how it changes, spring, summer, fall, winter. Main processes driving weather in Kentucky and forecasting, those two are going to go together because you guys are going to learn how to forecast today. So I want you guys to be Chris Bailey and Bill Mack going forward. So, and where to find weather data in Kentucky. You're all doing probably some type of research or some homework involves weather data. Where can you get that weather data from here in Kentucky? So, starting off, extreme weather events in Kentucky. I start my biometeorology class off with this slide every single year. That's a horse. All right, so this is an extreme event in Kentucky. You guys don't remember this event because you weren't born at this time. But this is 1937, all right? This is in Louisville, Kentucky. We got 15 inches of rain in 12 days. Now, I'm going to show you guys, a year in Kentucky here in a bit, but I'm going to spoil it for you a little bit. 15 inches of rain in 12 days. We average about 45 in Kentucky per year. So do the easy math. We got about a third of our annual rainfall within 12 days there in the Louisville area. So you can guess, ground can't hold that type of water. Of course, you're right next to the river there in Louisville. We do have black and white pictures, but this is Churchill Downs. And you can see all that reflectivity coming off the water. All the roads are flooded, the track is flooded, so on and so forth. You go up here, flood stage is 55 feet in Louisville. Crest got to 85 and a half about, so 30 feet above flood stage. 70% of Louisville was underwater.
So like 3 stories on us.
Yeah, so crazy amount of rainfall. But everyone, I showed this picture to the class and it just pops out. You don't see anything like this. I mean, horses can't climb trees. So put this in perspective. I just took a guy, let's just say 6 feet tall, all right? 6 feet, 12 foot, 18 foot, 24 to the head. So more than likely, not information on this, but you can guess, horse got caught up in the water, got stuck in a tree, water receded, horse is still up in the tree. So unfortunate, but it just goes to show you how much water there was back in 1937. So, yeah.
Horse didn't survive, did it?
I don't think so. Okay, let's go more recently, all right? 2012, anybody here from Western Kentucky? From Kentucky? Everybody, for the most part? Okay. If you're not from Kentucky, this was one of the worst droughts we've had in quite some time. This is a picture of the U.S. Drought Monitor. Once again, I'll talk about this later. But the worst category on here is exceptional drought. Extreme just below that, not a huge difference between the two. But you can see Western Kentucky really in those red shades. Had crop losses that year across that portion of the state, and even across the rest of Kentucky it was pretty bad. But I went to a conference in St. Louis. It was 2 years after this event, and something that really stuck out to me was the fact that they told me at the conference the Mississippi River was very close to shutting down that year because the river was so low. So that would have shut off trade, huge impacts to Kentucky. We already had huge impacts with the drought in place, so let alone the Mississippi River shutting down. So this picture outside of our office, you can see brown grass. This is a weekly summary taken from across Kentucky, and this was a typical week in June that year. Max temperatures getting into the upper 80s, low 90s, all right? We had minimum temperatures staying in the 60s, rainfall. Western Climate Division out in Western Kentucky only averaged 1/100th of an inch. Central Kentucky, 0. Went up to 1/1300ths of an inch out in Eastern Kentucky. So you can see not a whole lot of rainfall during that time period. Here's Paducah's climate data for the end of that month and into the start of July. The thing I wanted to point out here, first off, precip, you didn't see much at all. You're coming out of June, a dry June, and you get a 1/4 inch of rainfall. That's not going to do anything. But you guys look at these temperatures here, 105, 108, 106, 105, 101. Triple digits there for a good 2 weeks, it seemed like. But very hot temperatures. Yeah.
What does the T mean?
This, that actually means a trace. So in order to see a rainfall accumulation, you have to have at least 1/100 of an inch. If you can't measure that, but you see moisture in your rain gauge or whatnot, you're gonna put a T on there. So, yeah. So, a lot of, or not a whole lot of rainfall, very high temperatures. This occurred when corn was in the reproductive stages out in western Kentucky, and was absolutely detrimental to that crop. So you guys can see here, might be a little bit hard to see, but this is from Chad Lee. He's a specialist over in plant and soil sciences, but these are the same field. Part of the field was irrigated and part of it wasn't, and then you saw the ears of corn coming from each of those sides of the field, so quite the impact. All right, my favorite, severe weather, 2012. Remember it? Anybody see one? You did? What location?
It was in northern Kentucky.
So you saw a big one that went through Henryville?
Yes, the pine one that went through.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It was scary.
You guys all right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So sometimes this day in Kentucky history, March 2nd, 2012, brings back a lot of bad memories for folks around here. This was one of our worst tornado outbreaks in the area. This Salyersville tornado out in eastern Kentucky, this is just one of, I think, 3 or 4 violent tornadoes that went through the area that day. It was an EF3 strength, peak winds around 160 miles per hour. I'll show you guys a video in a little bit of what that tornado looked like. Path length of 49 miles, stayed on the ground a long time. Unfortunately, 2 fatalities and a 3/4 mile width.
Because that went over 75 a little bit, or did it come close?
Do what?
Did it come close to 75?
75.
Interstate 75?
Oh, it was all over the place. I'll show you a map here in a second. Yeah, right now. So, yeah, 75 going through there, but some of the tornadoes didn't touch down along 75, but all these polygons through here, these tan polygons, all right, that was all the tornado warnings that went out that day across Kentucky. So tornado warnings are issued by the National Weather Service in your area. Our area here in Lexington is controlled by the Louisville National Weather Service office. We have the Jackson NWS office over in eastern Kentucky, Paducah, western Kentucky. We got Wilmington up here in Ohio, covers a few counties in northern Kentucky. And we got Charleston, West Virginia office, covers some counties up here in northeastern Kentucky. But you can see they were very busy people that day, issuing tornado warnings almost constantly. Now, these bright red lines, those were associated with tornadoes that cause fatalities. Unfortunately, there's several on this map, especially this one that went just north of Louisville into northern Kentucky. I think that, yeah, that was an EF4 tornado, so it only goes to EF5. That was one of the strongest tornadoes on record here in Kentucky. So very unfortunate that day. So
when I grew up, I always heard that tornadoes wouldn't go into mountains. And obviously that's not necessarily.
well, I'll show you some pictures. It does, no matter where you're at, I'll tell you guys, tornadoes can occur. They've occurred in every state. They can occur any month of the year, especially around here. They can go up the sides of the mountains. I watched a video, I can't remember what year it was. Tornado went through downtown Salt Lake City. So it's not going to dodge urban areas either. So there's always a chance tornado is going to occur. But these are pictures from, I think it was Salyersville. But you can see the elevation differences going up mountains and everything. A lot of damage. Whenever you start seeing like EF4, EF5 tornadoes, I go out on tornado surveys. I'll show you that here in a second. But these houses would be gone. So this is EF3 strength. You also have to look at the structural integrity of the house, but some houses were completely gone. So, but you can imagine the wind speeds, 160 miles per hour, what it takes to toss these cars around. So, all right, so just like Carmen said, my name is Matt Dixon. I'm a meteorologist at UK. A lot of people think meteorologists you're only going to see on TV. That's not necessarily the case. Of course, we all know Bill Meck, Chris Bailey here in Lexington. I'm an agricultural meteorologist with the UK and Extension. You also have people in aviation meteorologists, air quality meteorologists, energy meteorologists. Whenever you fly an airplane, that pilot has to get a weather report from somebody. All right, you don't want to fly in turbulence because half your airplane might get sick in that situation. But so it's not all just broadcast meteorologists. How did I get into this field? I actually started fairly young, but this event like sold me on getting into the profession. But this was over in western Kentucky, southwest Indiana. I'm from Knox County, Indiana, just north of Evansville, about 3 counties off the Ohio River. And this was back in November 2005, but about 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning, a little line of storms passed through southwest Indiana and Kentucky. And a tornado touched down about 30-45 minutes south of me. And this is a radar image right now, and this is the velocity image. Whenever you see red and green right next to each other, it's a good indication there might be a tornado on the ground. So and usually you'll get a tornado warning based on that kind of imagery. But this tornado started in northern Kentucky, passed into southern Indiana, went across the river a couple times, hit the equivalent of Keeneland. This is Ellis Park over just south of Evansville. Went through the grandstands, completely demolished it. Went through some barns on the north side of the park. As far as I know, there were no horses killed in that event, amazingly. This is where it started getting bad. Just north of this horse park, there's a bunch of mobile homes. You can see where the tornado went through at. Straight path through there. I've talked to other people. I'm not quite sure what happened over here because it proceeded through this tree line right there. But there was over 20 people killed during that tornado. I think it was 20 people killed in this park, and there was a number of 25. I did some research on this event, and I couldn't figure out where the other fatalities came from. And there was another girl in my class at Purdue, and she lived down that area. And unfortunately, there was another family down the way living in a mobile home and heard the sirens and ran to a neighbor, and unfortunately didn't make it. So, but yeah. Bad tornado. You guys can imagine this happened at 1, 2 a.m. in the morning. People didn't see it coming. Sirens going on. Most people are sleeping. This image always sticks out in my mind. This is off the side of the hospital camera. And whenever the lightning lit up the sky, what can you see? So, bad news. So one of my most memorable experiences around here. This was 2014, I think it was, yeah, October 8th. I got the archived radar and put it up here. And that day was odd. Went home from work. There was a frontal boundary basically hanging out just north of Lexington. You can see New Circle right here. And there were just these supercell thunderstorms riding on top of this boundary over and over again. I had 3 tornado warnings in less than 2 hours, I think it was. And I'd take shelter, come back out, hear the sirens go off again, go back to shelter, so on and so forth. I'm trying to look at my phone while I'm looking at all the damage outside. But you can see this was taken at 23, 27, 20Z So UTC time, this was 7:27 at night. I live in Scott County. Here's supercell. You can see the hook on it, all right? Talk about a little bit more about this later, but it's going right through over my house. Okay, let's go to 8:02. So we went from 7:27 to 8:02. Here comes another supercell coming over the house. So there's another one also, but it all started out, I was in the house and looked out the window and saw this pea-sized hail. Said, all right, that's not bad. Okay, let's upgrade to quarter-size hail, golf ball-size hail. All right, now it's starting to get a little loud. And second warning came through, and this guy touched down in Paris, Kentucky, all right, just down the road from me. So this storm went over my house. Tornado didn't touch down, touched down a little farther away. But what did we get? Baseballs. And I tell everybody, any type of severe weather, go take shelter. Even if it's just lightning, go inside. I know the chances of getting struck are very, very minimal, but that doesn't mean it can't happen. And you definitely don't want to be outside when tornado sirens are going off. I know it's curiosity. I'll show you an example here in a second where that can turn against you, but always take shelter, safety number one. So baseball size hail, the only way I can describe this to you guys, I took shelter under our stairwell, and I say baseball size hail, well, take it another direction. It sounded like someone was taking a baseball bat against the side of my house constantly, just bang, bang, bang. And guys, I'm here, it's all right, you don't have to keep doing that, but I'll tell you guys, just for future reference, insurance is such a great thing. So I think it was all said and done, it was like $23,000 or $24,000 worth of damage. So get a new roof, you get new gutters, you get new siding, you get new fascia, and the truck took a few dings. Oh, sorry. Do what?
When was this?
This was in October of 2014. So
So people have been, I mean, I look at that, and they came from the sky and hit you, I can imagine.
well,
That would not be a good thing.
no.
People died from this?
I can't say that for sure. I haven't looked at the data, but we were talking about that last night in Louisville. I'll show you a picture. There has been hailstones more than 6 inches in diameter seen, so yeah. Take this a step further. National Weather Service, they go out and conduct what you call tornado surveys after there's reported damage from a tornado or straight line winds. And they go out to these areas. Of course, the chance of having a weather station nearby is very slim to none. And if there is a weather station, it's probably gone at that point. So you gotta judge the strength of the tornado based on the damage you see and the structural integrity of these houses that were built, so on and so forth. Is there one wall down? Is the roof gone? Is there just some windows missing? So on and so forth. Sometimes we looked at soft and hardwood trees, determining on the integrity of those trees, how strong winds would it take to take those trees down. So this is the damage I saw that day. This was the first house we went to, a subdivision there in Paris, Kentucky. You can see the roof is gone. There were sides of the house starting to cave in, not safe to walk in, obviously. Roof gone here, so on and so forth. And then we went over to Cynthiana, another tornado touchdown there. You see these little pieces of wood, those were 2x4s. And these holes right here, that was 2x4s going through the side of that building. So whenever I tell people to take shelter, That's the reason why, okay? It's the debris that a tornado is tossing around during that event. And whenever you have 160 mile per hour winds, this was a weaker tornado, probably in the 100 plus mile per hour range, still do some damage. You don't want to be stuck outside during that time. I saw a video recently of, I think it was Kansas or Nebraska or something, but two guys were out fishing in a pond with a tornado going right past them. Just, gotta catch my fish. Well, I don't know about that. Yeah, so, but I will tell you guys a story that'll always stay with me. A very eye-opening experience for me. Whenever I got invited to go to do this tornado survey, me and meteorologists in charge were walking around one of the houses, and we noticed the kitchen wall was gone. And walking around, and a lady came and tapped me on the shoulder, and I said, can I help you? She said, oh, I'm the owner of the house. What do you need? I said, oh, I'm just helping out the NWS with this tornado survey, trying to determine the exact strength of this system. And she goes, well, let me tell you a story. I said, all right. And she said, I heard the sirens go off. I said, okay. And she said, curiosity got to me. And